What it do, y'all? It's the voice of the coach, and we back at it, man. Today, I got a very special guest with me, but you know where I'm at. The home of the fresh, the hush, man. Summertime coming, spring is approaching. It's Easter weekend. Come and get fly 50 East Palisade Avenue. If you're down in the West New York area, come down to that location as well and get fly with us, man. But yo, I got a very special guest with me, man. Came all the way from BK to sit with your boy and chop it up and just talk about life and the mental health, but also talk about in the sporting arena, the sporting, you know what I mean, and how important it is in sports to just get your shit together, honestly. And it's not just about playing, it's also about having the mental capacity to understand what's going on, but I'm going to let her break that down. Coach D, welcome to the pod, baby.
Blessings. So first off, thanks for having me. Coming out to Brooklyn, Jersey is always a good time. So yeah, just shout out to everybody in the community, in the culture, connecting and just making things happen. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So where did it all start at for you, Coach? Because you wasn't always Coach D.
Nah. It started for me the day Dr. Akhtar, God rest his soul, told me that I'd never play basketball again. That's when Coach D was born. That day, I got out of surgery. So I had in my sophomore, junior year, at the end of my sophomore going into my junior year, I had surgery on my right knee. And I had, ACL tear. What was common in the early 2000s with female athletes, ACL tear, damaged meniscus. I had flapping cartilage and all that. And so when he told me that, I remember crying and cursing him out. But I was high off anesthesia at the same time. And so
this is the doctor.
Yeah, I was trying to take his head off. And I remember being blessed. I remember being in the hospital and coming out of surgery and having these conversations and just crying and wanting to fight. Bless you. But when you come out of surgery, for anybody that's ever been in surgery, there's a lot going on in your mind that's actually not happening. If you've ever gotten a tooth pulled, there's things you want to do with your face that you can't. And no matter how much your mind, is trying to will it, it just doesn't happen. So very similarly, I felt that same way, but I just had this burning desire to prove him wrong and get back on the court somehow. So fast forward 4 years later, 3 or 4 years later, I'm out of high school and I'm working with kids. I always worked with kids, always loved working with kids. And bless you, it was this young man, his name was Isaiah.
And we still in BK though?
Oh yeah, always, BK all day. BK everywhere. Though? I'm originally from Brownsville, never ran, never will. And then I moved to East New York. But I've actually lived all over Brooklyn. But so this young man, long story short, I was working at St. Nick's in Williamsburg, and he had asked me how I did a certain move. I love to do the drop step, spin around. I'm 6'3" in my mind, but you know what I mean?
I get it.
And so he was a small guard as well, and so he asked me to teach him that move. So we always at the end of after school, we play a quick game of, sevens. And he beat me with the move I had just taught him.
Wow.
And the feeling I got was, needless to say, it was orgasmic. It was something existential. I don't know if you ever heard of portal traveling or, when you...
Right.
Leaping through dimensions or whatever. But if I could describe it, it would be similar to that. I just felt like I was going somewhere in that moment, in that space.
You was already doing the portal before the portal was the portal.
Yeah, it was just the feeling I got was just different. I had never experienced anything like it, and in that moment I said, I'm Coach D. And so everybody called me Damo. My name is Dominique.
Right.
And everyone's calling me Miss Damo. And then after that, it was Coach Damo. And then I was like, nah, Damo mad hood. I want to be Coach D.
Right.
So I started looking at different coaches. I started studying Lenny Wilkins. So I studied Lenny Wilkins. Yeah. He used to wear the suit.
Right.
I studied Pat Summitt. I studied, the way she would, I studied Phil Jackson, of course. I also studied Rick Carlisle, George Carl. like in terms of like their mind.
Right.
Like not necessarily the way they coach, but their basketball mind. Like the way they ran plays, I thought was phenomenal. And I started looking at coaches. Like me, I like Jordans and Sean John jeans, and my fitted used to be loaded here. But I started watching them. I'm like, oh wait, they show their face. Like I gotta show my,
Right.
you know, and that's essentially how Coach D was born. Just this desire to
Mature.
mature, but more so be respected. Like I didn't care to be respected by people who didn't have nothing. You know what I mean? Like everybody in the hood that I was around, everybody loved Damo. Damo the life of the party. You know, but Damo also had a story that, you know, I think to some degree made people feel good about themselves. So being around Damo was like, yo, I feel good. Yeah, because Damo always gonna make it a party. I went through so much pain at home. When I go outside, it's always a party.
Right. You leave that at home.
Yeah, I gotta go outside and have fun. So everybody love being around Damo, because when Damo's hurting, oh, she the life of the party. Right? Everybody don't know that. Everybody don't know about the pain. And even for those that did know about the pain, for the most part, they didn't care because that pain was the reason they had such a good time.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean?
It was like somewhat of a gift and a curse a little bit.
Absolutely,
You know what
absolutely.
I mean? What you was struggling with in the cut, it also brought joy to other people on the outside.
Yeah, because of who it turned me into.
Exactly.
Right? You know, and so, you know, when you talk about, you know, how Coach D was created, it was for this desire that, like we talked about earlier, to have direction. I wanted to have direction. I didn't want to be a jester anymore. You know, like the court jester.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that no more.
It's funny that you said that because somebody else said that to me this week.
Yeah, I didn't want to be that no more. And I started recognizing that the people I was dancing for, they weren't the kings and queens that I thought they were. You know what I mean? Like, because when you dance for the king and queen, you get paid. So in my mind, I'm thinking me bringing joy is elevating them, which is going to in turn elevate me.
Right.
It didn't. It kept me there. So now I'm starting to elevate. I'm turning into Coach D. I'm standing different.
We're not Demo no more. We Coach D.
Yeah, don't call me Damo. I used to tell my homies, like, yo, when we in certain spaces, don't call me Damo. Like, don't even do that. Don't take your hood off. Pick your pants up. Because I got these young kids, these 13, and I take that very seriously, watching me.
Now, did that affect people around you sometimes? Like, yo, she you know, because sometimes everybody's not going to understand that.
Absolutely.
Let's be clear. Some people are
Absolutely.
rooting for you. Some people are rooting against you. And some people like, yo, she thinks she all that. You know what I mean? Did you lose people on the way behind that?
Man, I cut people off. And this way it get intricate, because I remember I had a friend, old friend, tell me, you know, you got to find people that's going through what you're going through. And that was the best advice he could have ever gave me. Now, lo and behold, he didn't know that meant that he was ending our friendship and even telling me that. But it was the best thing he could have ever told me as my friend.
Right. So it made sense.
You understand what I'm saying? So, like, again, the pain that I was experiencing at home, you know, led me to be this, I'm going to just have fun type of person.
Basically, you kind of want to be free.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because when you leave that section, that area, I want to go into this area free. Leave that where
I
it's
want to
at.
be freedom. Yeah. And you know what I mean? I want to be freedom. And so people loved that. People loved that. But as I started to elevate and want more for myself, what started to happen for people was, it wasn't as clear. Like, it would be easy if niggas is just hating. It would be easy if, you know, niggas is doing shit and you like, yeah, I can't. But it was so much more manipulative. Yeah, like, people have a way of attaching themselves to you in ways that'll make you think and make you believe that it's for your best interest, but it's really for theirs. And it's not until you realize that it's actually not in your best interest and you take the leech off, right? Irregardless of how it's gonna hurt you, them, or anyone else, that's not on them, that's on you. So that's what I went through. I went through this understanding of, oh shit, if I stay here, bro, I'm not gonna be shit. And it's not because of them.
It's because I'm staying. I'm allowing myself to.
I'm allowing myself to be a court jester. And that's not how other people see me. But that's what I knew I was.
Well, it didn't matter because you felt that for yourself.
You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. Like, that, the reason why I say I knew that that's what I was, because we get to be honest, and this is where the mental health aspect comes in. We get to be honest with ourselves about the impact that we have on other people's lives. If I ain't never ran a day in my life, I'm not going to go to the track and run with a cross-country runner. I'm going to hold them back. I can't, why would I train with a cross-country runner? Every day I got 10 miles to do, I'm out. Hey, I got 2 blocks,
Right.
Right? But it's up to the cross-country runner to say, yo, you can't train with me. I can give you some tips, and if you do this, once you get to that level, come holler at me.
Right.
The cross-country run, because me, I don't know no better. Come on, let's run, this is fun.
To you.
Not knowing I'm holding them back.
Because they got to hold your hand right now.
Right. So that was on me. I had friends who didn't understand my resiliency. They were intimidated by it. I had friends who didn't understand the pain I was going through. They were scared to death of it. I had friends who didn't actually want to elevate because they had no purpose in life to do no such thing. They had things handed to them in ways that they resented, so much so that it also made it hard for them to even be accountable for that or grateful for that, right? How do you see the dude with no shoes and no socks? It's like 50 said, you gonna let a crackhead outgrind you today? Most people will, because of the work that's humiliating, that's sometimes demoralizing, sometimes
they're
denied.
going to do just to get that dollar.
Right. That's what a
That you
crackhead will
won't
do.
do.
That you won't do because you ain't even got to. A lot of those decisions that crackhead gonna make that day, you don't even have to make. That dichotomy would never even be in your atmosphere. But I was dealing with matters of life and death literally every day. Decisions that they wouldn't even want to think about because, as my friend said, you got to find people that's going through what you're going through. And when he said it to me, I was like, oh shit. They can't help me. I love them, but they can't help me. All I will ever be to them is a wonder. Because it's like, yo, wow, she going through all that and she's still the life of the party? That's crazy. Let's party.
That's crazy.
Let's party. I got to be the one to say, wait, I'm actually hurting. I'm actually grieving. I'm actually so angry out my mind right now that if I don't party, I probably might die.
That's crazy that you would even admit that.
Real talk. Real talk.
Is that a challenge for you though? Because that had to be. It's like you kind of playing 2 sides.
Oh yeah, I was
You know
Coach
what I mean?
D and Damo.
That's what I'm saying.
with my friends, right? Coach D was professional, and they were intimidated by that. And I've actually had friends say, "Oh, my mom's never taught me this," and yo, I don't really want to do that. So I was like, "I bet you my on the block friends. When I'm on the block, I'll holler at you."
Right. But you gotta know how to separate that though.
But they got mad though, because it was like, you only come around to do X, Y, and Z with us. I said, yeah, because when I invite you to live music, when I invite you to art shows, when I invite you to museums,
Something that's different that
when
we
I
don't
invite
normally,
you,
it's not
right?
the turn up.
When I invite you to sporting
Some other
events, you don't want to do it. You don't like it. You know you. Nah, I know me. I know I ain't gonna really fuck with that, son. All right, so I'm not gonna keep asking you. But when you ask why I'm not around making niggas laugh on the block because you got a bottle of Henny and I say I don't care, now I'm not a good friend. And you're right, though. They were right. I wasn't a good friend because I compartmentalized in such a way that it made me shrink who I was to make them feel comfortable in order for me to go hang around. Can you imagine the type of mind gymnastics you gotta do?
You gotta dumb yourself down just to fit in.
Just to fit in around people that say they love you but can't actually elevate with you and actually have no interest to. And that's okay.
Right.
And that's okay. But you keep coming back. But that's part of my trauma.
Now the purpose, do you feel like you coming back was because you didn't know no better? Because
No.
sometimes we don't know no better.
No, it had nothing to do with no better.
Okay.
I fully well on knew. Like,
oh, you knew?
yeah, like, and you have the book with you?
Yeah. The book
Yeah.
is right here.
So let's get into it. Let's show that book. On the top of that book, Just Breathe. So last year, Get Fit Fly Right is my company. We are an education company that works with youth organizations in implementing mental health and hygiene programming. And so I created this book because I wanted to give youth an opportunity to do 3 things. 1, increase their emotional intelligence. 2, be able to exercise what I call emotional autonomy. And last but most certainly not least, get off the goddamn phone. Get off the goddamn app. Stop handing your kids a goddamn phone and a goddamn app. When I was younger, in 96, I was listening to Biggie. I was sneaking to listen to Lil' Kim. And I would say, Mommy, I'm bored. And she would say, go read a book. And my grandmother said, them babies, they need something more. So she would get me workbooks. I would get highlights and scholastics, and she would give me all the Black history workbooks and sports books where I would color, do unscrambled word puzzles. So I wanted to create that in the realm of mental health and hygiene, getting our kids excited about looking at their emotions and looking at themselves and reflecting. That all comes from my mom. So my mom's, God rest the dead, my mom's has been gone since 2009. And last year I was able to drop this book in her honor. And the phrase that my mother always used with me was just breathe. And so, yeah, that's where we get to. We get to be accountable for the webs that we weave in our lives. And I recognized that I wasn't being accountable for the web that I had weaved in my life. Right? You can't ask, for pizza if you go to a burger joint. They make burgers.
Yeah.
They got meat and lettuce and tomato and buns. You want bread, cheese, and sauce, right?
Go to the pizza shop.
So I wanted elevation. I wanted peace, right? But I can't find that in the hood where people are okay in their trauma. People are okay in their survival. I wasn't okay in mine. And so I needed to be around other energy that also wanted to elevate, that also wanted to find peace, right? I created this mantra in my head, like just breathe, as a way to honor my mother, really.
You told me off camera that, that was something she always said to you.
Yeah. And so my mother's death, it was followed by my father's death, who died in 2007. So my pops died when I was 19, turning 20. And my mom's died when I was, my pops, I was 20, turning 21. My mom's died when I was 22, turning 23. So I was just angry as fuck.
How was your relationship with them, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, we could talk about it. So my pops, he misused alcohol.
Okay.
And alcoholism, unfortunately, was in his family. Like his father, his father's mother, and then him.
Oh, okay.
And my father was a genius with no social skills. So can you imagine a Black man who was super smart, but was often introverted, wasn't very social, very non-confrontational? He was often emasculated, right? Because again, Black men, especially in the 70s and 80s, you're supposed to be cool, suave, and alpha. And he just wasn't, My father was very interested in a lot of things other people in his time were interested in, like martial arts, baseball, and mathematics. You know what I'm saying?
So the average Black man in them 70s is not even
thinking about. You know what I mean? And so, he dealt with that. So often I have a very interesting relationship with my father now in his death that I did not have when he was alive.
Now, wait, hold up. Let's repeat that.
I have an interesting and much better relationship with my father now in death than I ever did when he was alive.
How is that?
I was the last person to see my father alive, and I didn't speak to him. I saw him at Hoyt and Skimmerhorn train station in Brooklyn. And I didn't say anything because I just felt like he didn't care. My father left the house when I was like 16, 17. And, now I understand depression is real. And he wanted more for himself, and he couldn't get it in the space and in the environment that was cultivated in my home, which I completely understand. He felt unseen. And me being gay in my grandmother's home, I can definitely understand what it's like to feel unseen. And so when he left, he didn't even say goodbye. One day he just wasn't there anymore.
How did that affect you then when it happened, if you don't mind me asking?
It didn't, because when I was younger, my father was in and out.
Okay.
And then he would stay, and then he would leave. But again, my father was very non-confrontational. He was very non-verbal. He didn't want to talk. I watched my father drink 2 40s and be asleep for the next 2 days. And then I'd watch him wake up and build a laser in my basement. Like, my father taught me electricity one night watching a Mets game. You know what I mean? Like, it was a very this or that type of experience with him. So when he died, my mother was very upset at me because she was like, well, why didn't you say anything? And I was like, I felt like he didn't care. And
was you still angry then?
I guess, like, at the time, children will do what they're taught. I was a child and my father didn't talk to me. So I thought to speak to him.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, it's really that simple. We make this shit harder than it need to be when we looking at these kids. It's not the phone, it's you. You don't hold their attention and you mad about it, so now you blaming social media. Let's talk about it. Another conversation for another day.
Hold up, though. You just said something that was very key. My father was non-confrontational. He wasn't verbal. So when I seen him, I didn't speak because that's just what it was. That's crazy.
I wasn't mad. I'm not talking to you. Nah, nigga, it's like, should I? Nah, that nigga don't really talk. Fuck it.
Right.
And then I watched him get on the G train and I was like, damn, that's my father though. It's all right. It's cool. And then 2 weeks later, he's dead. That fucked me up. That fucked me up.
Right.
My mother saying, that's your father. You could at least said hello. But, now, that's me at 20. Me at 39, yes, 35. But me now, I'm like, I understood her frustration, but that's a projection. Like, I forgive my mother for that moment. That was her projecting, because you didn't talk to him either, nigga. Like, y'all had y'all issues. Desi and Daryl, they had their own issues.
But I think that's the thing.
And she projected that onto me.
I think she wanted to leave her issues and them, like, she didn't want y'all to have that issue.
No. She was just mad that I didn't speak to him because no one knew where he was. That's how my pops was. He would just get up and go.
I follow the story now.
You get what I mean? Like, if you know anything about someone who's navigating alcoholism, that song, Papa Was a Rolling Stone, wherever he laid his hat was his home. That's real. You understand what I'm saying? When somebody is dependent on a substance to just make it through the day, they're not concerned with saying, hey, I'm out.
Yo, by the way.
You feel me? I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where I'm going to go, but I'm about to take this 40 and be on my way. No, the nigga just left. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at him. I like Tupac said, I ain't mad at you. So, fast forward with my moms, my mother had been sick, for a long time, and gradually, it actually consumed me and my sister's adolescent years, taking care of my mother back and forth to the hospital and, being her caregivers. And like, also, I grew up with a lot of my elders. I was fortunate enough to know my grandmother's folk, like my grandmother's aunts and my great-grandfather. I called him granddaddy. Like, I was 9 years old hanging around 80-year-olds. Like, my Aunt Frances, my Aunt Annie, you know what I'm saying? Mom.
Would you say that y'all was a close-knit family?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So
the only reason why I said that because you said you grew up around everybody.
I grew up around them, so my moms always went and traveled to go see them. So I grew up with my mother taking care of elderly people. So
as a child,
right? So
stripped you from your.
No, it didn't strip me at all.
Right.
That was my childhood. It was either do I stay in Brownsville during the summers when niggas is shooting, or do my mother take me to Connecticut, Norwalk, and go visit my aunts? That's what we did.
We could sleep at night.
You feel me? So that's what we did. And I'm very grateful to her because she taught me love and compassion. Like, I've wiped more adults' behinds than I've ever wiped a baby's behind. I've written more obituaries than most in their entire lifetimes before I was 25. You know what I'm saying?
So there's a certain. A lot for the average.
It is, but I'm not the average.
I mean, you.
My name Dominique. That means Saint of the Lord.
Right.
That means that when we, and I'm holding a hand for a reason, when we talk about understanding our purpose and our calling, it has a lot to do with the origin of our spirit and why we came to this realm. Right? As a saint of the Lord, that means that my job is to usher people to the Lord, whatever the Lord that may be.
You're not playing Lord, but
whatever God or higher power that may be to you, my spirit and energy has come here to usher people there. So of course I would need to understand and learn life and death.
Wow.
Right? That's why in my 20s I was a ghost artist. It was easy for me to kill people off. Easy. Because I understood life and death. I understood that in life we are here and this is what it is for this moment and this season is ended. And I get to go from you. Now, I used that toxically. I did.
That was my next question.
I did. Oh, absolutely. You hurt me once. Ain't no shame. Ain't no, what's the saying? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame. Nah, you ain't getting a second chance. But I burned bridges doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to, again, learn a balance between pain and purpose, between grind and grace. You know what I'm saying? Because there is a demand to death that people don't recognize. It's called grief.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? But people don't recognize that. People, when the death happens, it's very lively. Death doesn't sit until you forget that the death actually happened.
Repeat that again.
Death doesn't sit until you forget the death actually happened. It's actually something Uncle Phil said. not Uncle Phil, his mom. So if you remember in The Fresh Prince, Uncle Phil's pop died and his mom started dating again.
That's why I think I heard that.
Yeah, and she said to him, she said, I think his name was Zeke. She said, Zeke, it's not remembering that your father is gone. It's when I forget that hurts the most. And it's in those moments that people forget, that have never experienced death to that magnitude, how hard it can be to forget all these people are gone. Mm. So when you remember, it's like, it hits you all over.
It's that
again.
breathe. It's kind of like you breathing.
You have to. You get it. Well, I have to.
I have.
But
It's
like, you feel it all over again. That moment happens. that pain happens all over again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you have a choice after that. I chose to turn it into purpose. That's why cutting people off became easier.
Because you knew your purpose.
Right. And there were a lot of people jealous of that.
Well, I mean, they jealous because you're not here to entertain.
That too. But there's a genuine jealousy around understanding what one wants to do, right? And that's why, when you said, did my mom like take away my childhood? No, she put me in a position to be aware, even through all the whatever.
That's dope.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's how you saw it.
Yeah, even through all that, because a parent's job is to not what's the word I'm looking for? A parent's job is to not usher a kid. A parent's job is to raise and guide a child to the point where they don't need them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's an African proverb, but I forget how it goes exactly, but the goal is to prepare them to be without you.
That's a fact. I
don't think everybody
don't understand that.
If your children can't be without you, then they've never grown.
Right.
Then you didn't do your job as a parent.
Yeah.
So for my mother to leave, no, she didn't leave me money. She didn't leave me bills either, thank God.
She left a legacy, though.
Yeah, but she left a legacy that's internal. That's why it's eternal.
Right.
Right? Because her legacy isn't external. It's not something that depreciates. What she gave me is something no one can never take from me or my sister.
Right.
Right?
And you continue to pass that legacy on to others.
That's it, which is just breathe, which is resiliency, which is love is not just a feeling, but a choice every day.
That's real. I told somebody that shit a while ago. Like, somebody said something about, I forgot exactly what it was. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Love is there. I don't look at love like that. I look at love exactly what you said. Like, you choose to love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some people don't want to walk in love. I choose to walk in love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I love how you said walk, because it is a walk. And I think people forget that.
You know what I mean?
People forget that. And the walk, you're going to get tired sometimes. The knees going to drop. But you choose to keep walking.
Exactly. And you're able to see things during your walking. You can't really pay attention to shit when you're running.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or when you stop and turn around, recently, I think that segues in something I've been wanting to kind of talk about too. Like, when it comes to the brand, right, Get Fit Fly Right has really made its bones in the sport world, right? And I know that was something we wanted to talk about. But when it comes to this mental health shit, it wasn't easy. People got love for Coach D now. But people didn't have love Coach D back then because Coach D was exposing something that a lot of people didn't want to deal with. To be around me, to be around Dominique, Coach D, Damo, D, however you see me, you have to be okay with confronting who you are. Nina Simone, one of my favorite quotes, she said, "I am so completely myself, as honest as I can be, that it confronts people to where they have to be confronted with who they are immediately." That's why my friends wanted me to keep. Because me elevating made them confront who they were or who they weren't becoming immediately.
Yeah, that's real shit too.
And I had to understand that about my presence. My mother would say to me, "Neek, people gonna love you or hate you, there's no in between." So that taught me at an early age, if you fuck me, you fuck me, you don't.
Right.
You're good. I'll always fight for love though. And I had to learn. I'm still learning a balance in that. Because you can fight for a love that you want, but is it a love that everyone in that situation needs?
And I think the key word in that and what you just said was need.
Yeah, discernment, right? And so when it comes to Get Fit Fly Right, I had to discern, do I want to keep fighting these coaches to, to answer a lot of people's questions, why Coach D not coaching no more, is because my love for these children and for the game, I had to learn my unique ability wasn't about basketball. It was in my voice alone. The sheer power of my voice is why I was an amazing coach. The sheer power of my voice was why I got so many young men to follow a woman who had never even played more than 2.5 years of high school basketball.
You know what?
I had to think about that.
I'd have never thought that. I'd have thought you've been bowling your whole career.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
and I love sports. And I'm an athlete.
So
let's be clear.
Me?
So I know when I see, like, okay, she's been knee deep.
Right. With that means I have the gift of gab. I have the art of persuasion. I have the responsibility that comes with influence.
I don't feel like it's a gift of gab, though. I just feel like, honestly, it's really just you being yourself.
Right. But that's a gift, though. That's a gift, right? LeBron being himself is freakishly athletic. That's him being himself. LeBron just, bang, at 45, right? That's him being himself, right? So I know that that's my gift. We all have our own unique gift, a unique ability. That is mine. It is my voice. I know that. You know what I mean? Like, I see the way people look at me when they listen. That's not them, that's their spirit. So
I'm looking at you on some, okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm learning.
There's an awareness that I'm sharing with you about my gift that I'm aware of. The responsibility of the influence my voice carries. It's persuasive. And so I wanted to be able to understand that in sport without emasculating men, without making anyone feel like they couldn't be safe to cry, to all the things I needed and wanted for myself. That's what I was giving to my boys. Right? And so I had a young lady tell me, she said, when you gonna believe for yourself what you tell them boys? That shit hit me different. It hit me different because she was right. All this I'm giving away my mother's legacy and the breathing and the yoga, and I could come back from 3, not 1, not 2, 3 knee surgeries. And although I hadn't played after February 17, 2003, you still believe that I had extensive experience as a basketball player.
Facts.
There's a responsibility that I have in that space. And so that's where the mental wellness comes in. I said, I gotta be better for me. And every time I did that, I was able to create something of value for someone else. So it wasn't my coaching. It was me learning and growing with my boys. That was the best thing and the best gift that I could ever give them, not X's and O's. When I look at my boys now, they're men, they're fathers, they're coaches, they're engineers. I remember one of my babies, he if he watches this, he gonna know who he is. He said to me at 14, he was this big. He said, I wanna be fit and I wanna be an engineer. I wanna work on cars. I said, okay, then do that. I said, so why are you here? He said, I wanna play ball because I like it. And really, coach, I like the way that you make me feel. I appreciate the way you make me feel about myself.
He appreciates your experience.
He told me that because I was real with my boys. Like, I was real with them. To this day, I'm real with them. Like, yo, I need your help. And they appreciated that. Also, as a young woman who didn't have the influence of her father, who was very hyper masculine at that time, Ellen, I'm gay, my boys taught me how to be a woman. Because now, hold on, they 15, 16, they're real men. They standing like this. And I'm like, okay, hold on. They like, coach, step to the side because you still a female. Okay. Okay. Like,
that's
and
dope.
they allowed me to be comfortable in that.
But
in my own androgyny.
You know what's dope about it? You was able to be comfortable enough to accept when they said, coach, you.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, yo, what you talking about?
You know
Instead
why?
of you drawing the attitude like, yo, hold up.
You know why? Those are my babies. And this is where you're gonna see Dominique, right? But when you're a coach in any endeavor and you have the responsibility to influence, you have a duty to adapt because you're serving these young people. So how dare you not learn from them? That's how they learn how to lead. How do they learn how to lead if they have no one that was willing to follow?
Right.
Especially as young men. How can I, as your coach, say, yo, don't bring no babies? You either sell drugs and have babies or you play basketball. How can I set that standard if I'm not also giving and reciprocating that same energy? Well, they want to learn how to be men. They're curious. They got questions.
But they might say you can't teach a man to be a man.
Oh, no, I can't teach a man to be a man, but I can teach a man how to treat a woman. And that's what they're curious about. So when they do have those talks with those older men, they also have that, and then they have the voice of their coach that's like, well, I also heard from a woman too. And now as a man, they can make their own decision. But I also would put a lot of men around my boys. Coach, I want to learn how to dunk. All right, well, let's go get a nigga who can dunk, because I can't. In my mind, I can't, but you know what I mean? When my boys, when I started noticing the shoulders go back and the certain things drop, you know what I'm talking about, around between 15 and 17, they starting to, be men. I started to have to bring more men around them. So the things that I said to them at 13 can now make sense. They can apply it. So yeah, when they were 15 and starting to feel themselves, and they weren't really talking to no girls, they were talking to me. They were practicing with me. Yo, coach, step to the side. Okay, you right. I'm a woman.
So let me ask you this. You talked about coaching a young man. You never coached the women?
Yes. Shout out to Columbia Grammar Preparatory High School. I coached that girls varsity team assistant from 2015 to 2020.
Shout out to that.
Shout out to that, yes, and shout out to 3 straight division titles.
Shout out to
Three straight league titles, and first ever in school's history, making it passing one game in the state tournament. Yes, we took a bunch of Jewish white girls
Wow.
to the states, upstate. We was one game away from Finger Lakes.
So
I coach girls as well.
The dynamics.
Oh, different.
Thank you.
Different.
Like, how do you turn that switch? You know what I mean? Because now you're dealing with females, younger females with emotions and feelings. Coach, you know
to be honest with you, to me, that wasn't the biggest difference, contrary to popular belief. Men are easier because they're less emotional. Not true. Not true.
We was crybabies.
What? Oh my God.
Record, we cried. He get in the game. He don't never let me play. He keep letting
Thank you. Oh my God. When men are sensitive, that's why I can't date y'all. Love y'all, but cannot. No, ma'am. Give me a baby and go about your business.
Because it's the pride thing.
The level of sensitivity in men was like, but that's why my boys were so special, because I gave them the space to do all that.
Because a lot of coaches wouldn't give you that space.
And so me
Man
telling
up.
them, I tell them, I said, no, nigga, go cry and come back.
Get it out your system and come back when you're ready. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I feel you.
Because look, I need these rebounds, and you about to foul out. You got 2 fouls. We ain't got no height. I get it together. And in my mind, I'm laughing because in my mind, it really was that simple. But back then, I used to catch so much flack. Like, this is why women shouldn't be coaching. Why would you make that boy cry? Because he's a boy, he's a child, not a man, and the men need to cry too. I need him to go cry so he can get it out, so he could come back and we can win this game. And that's exactly what happened. I digress. But the biggest difference... I think you was teaching a very valuable lesson back then. Absolutely.
It's okay.
To cry.
Not just cry, just show your emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. But see, everything that I was teaching them were only lessons I needed to learn, right? The best of all teachers.
Each one teach one.
No, yes, but it was more so my quote is, the best of all teachers teach what they themselves must learn. Meaning, so many people got a plan for everybody else's life. And it's so easy to look on the outside and say, hey, you could do this. It's so much harder to be like, hey, I could do that. And I was the epitome of that. Everything that I was giving to my boys was everything I needed for myself.
Well, did you give the young ladies the same type of, because it's 2 different dynamics, like we said.
So back to that. The dynamic. I'm curious to know how the dynamic where it was different at wasn't with emotions. I was the same coach. Direct, honest, and real. I was the same coach for both when it came to emotions. For me, the difference wasn't gender. It was culture. I went to Columbia Grammar Preparatory School. That's 93rd and Central Park West.
Yeah, I know.
We talking Jewish girls whose daddies got money.
Right.
Where I was in Ridgewood, East New York, with a bunch of Dominican and black kids from the hood that look like me, that talk like me, that walk like me, that went and had chips, and we had $4 between the 8 of us, right?
And we figured some
shit out where I'm with them and they bringing me to Governor's Island because their daddy's CEO office, whatever. Right? That was harder for me than anything. Because I came from a certain level of like respect and how you talk to people. And so these girls and myself, we were both ignorant about each other. So that for me, the biggest dynamic was the biggest dynamic for me was moving away from the assumptions and then liberating myself from my own assumptions of them. Right? Like there were times where I got stopped by security several times, years after I had worked in that building. There were times where we would be shaking other teams' hands and the coaches wouldn't shake my hand. And back then I had long locks and I always rock my RBG. And I'm one of them black people that, like, I'm not coming from some other place and I'm an immigrant and I got the immigrant story, no disrespect, but I'm black. Like I'm from here black. So I'm in a PWI, a predominantly white institution with a bunch of white girls, and I'm the rough and tough coach. So they would say things to me like, Coach, make us laugh. Fuck are you talking to? Like, Coach, you always got something powerful to say, cheer us up. What? Nah, I don't work like that.
It goes back to being a jester again.
Yeah, absolutely. 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 So for me, me learning how to be myself around anybody was what those girls gave me. So I introduced yoga because what I recognized was that I wasn't dealing with ballers. I was dealing with young ladies. So how would I approach that in like an after school setting? Well, I would use what's known as theme-based learning. I would take learning from different areas and different modalities to get them excited about the one thing that I'm trying to engage them on. With basketball, the one thing that I wanted to engage them on was their level of pride. They didn't have any, right? Most kids from the hood, they playing to get out the hood. These girls was playing because it was something to do after school.
Or Susie was playing and made it seem like it was cool to do.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I would say, yeah, definitely you do have that conversation of boys play for respect, girls play for relationships. And yes, although that's true, I had players who wanted to play. I had white girls who really wanted to ball.
Yeah, I wanted to know that.
Like, I had white girls,
plans that they wanted to get the scholarships.
They wanted to play
to get to that next level.
You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't no, they didn't want that. That's the dynamic. They didn't need scholarships,
bro.
Well,
they wanted to get to that college level.
They just wanted to get to the next level.
They wanted to play on that next level.
They wanted to prove that they could play just as good as black girls that they played on their AAU teams with in Harlem. At Columbia Prep, they were the star of the team. When they played in Harlem on them AAU teams, they sat at the end of the bench. Because they were paying where the star, which is the black kid who don't got the money, is from the project, don't got to pay nothing. So when I understood that, I was like, oh, wow, I'm on the other side of it now. I'm on the other side to be this white girl who got a nice jump shot, but her daddy ain't concerned with her grinding it out. Look, I got 40 racks already saved for you to go to college. Like, you don't need to do that. But in her mind, she's like, nah, I got something to prove. Because when I'm at Rucker Park and I got my little Riverside jersey or my West 4th jersey on, I'm not getting no playing time.
I'm not getting that respect.
Look, my daddy's money, my apartment, what school I go to, my grades.
Means nothing.
Means nothing. But see, in the hood.
But it does mean something to us in the hood. Now we're going to go against you even harder. Prove that you're not supposed to be
No,
here.
not at all. It didn't in the hood. I'm telling you, in girls basketball, these black girls that's balling, South Shore is not worried about Columbia Prep. Right. I promise you.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? But at Columbia Prep, in Columbia Prep or in that prep world, well, my daddy's this, and I'm going to this school, and I have a such and such GPA. That's their world. So as a basketball player, you're in that world constantly. Again, the white man's culture is competition. It's a mindset of scarcity and lack. So that's their culture, right? So when I went to Columbia and I saw that firsthand, I was like, nah, they got real mental health issues, real anxiety. If they got a B, some of them girls, if they got a B,
they losing
it, bro. And I'm like, what? You losing it? What? But it's because it's this idea of who I'm white, I'm this, I'm that. This is supposed to be.
A B is like belittling me, myself.
Type shit.
And as we look at it, yo, I passed, I got a B.
Especially if you did, you know what I mean? Depending on what household, because in my household, that wasn't a thing. I had to get an A. But
we wouldn't, we had to get A's.
Right, but it didn't attack your self-worth.
Right, you wasn't
less of a person.
Right,
because
and you wasn't beating yourself down like, yo, babe.
Absolutely. Well, yes and no, depending on...
How much work you put into it, and you feel like you aced it.
Right. But generally speaking, this idea of I'm supposed to be this type of whatever. So dealing with that with them, I learned very early on, like, yo, I gotta create different modalities for them to feel empowered for them. The same thing I was doing with my boys in the hood. It's just different issues. With them, it was hunger. With them, it was home insecurity. With them, it was clothing insecurity or schooling, education. I used to have to go up to their school. They cut in class, and why? Now I'm going to pull up if their parents wasn't pulling up. But with these girls, it was about their confidence. It was about their own self-image. It was about them feeling like they matched up when they came around someone who looked like me. Like, I really saw the real insecurity that a lot of these like prep kids have when it comes to Black people. And, you know, it was just a great learning experience. So the mental health stuff really, it's in girls and boys. It's just the way you approach it is definitely different based on those dynamics. Like, I had to learn how to build relationships with them knowing I had nothing in common with them. That was different. My boys, we the same. You live up the block from me. But with these girls, our worlds were miles away. And I still had to learn that.
You might catch me in the bodega getting a sandwich, 2 a.m.
My boys would.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Coach,
absolutely.
Like, oh, yo.
Absolutely.
I remember we talked about that.
Those
you know
double lives. Nah, real talk. It was one Friday night. I was walking down Ralph Avenue. One of my boys lived in Brevoort. I was on my way to the block. I had what I needed in my pockets Friday night. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, yo, Coach. They was doing the same. They had a bottle of Henny. They had their little pint. I had my little 8 flames. I was like, oh my God, no, we can't. I can't. Like, Damo, I can't be Damo no more because I love Coach D. And like the thought of my boys even
recognizing me in that type of manner.
That threw it.
It's not a good look.
It's changed my life.
Real talk. It wouldn't have been a good look.
It changed.
And the lack of respect they would have had for me too.
You feel me?
Because now you start to look at me as one of your peers.
There's a responsibility to influence, my G. There's a responsibility. So
let's talk about the growth of your elevation, because now, like I said, you know, you sitting in different rooms now. I see you, you know, sitting with Rod Strickland.
Yeah. Shout out to Rod, call me.
Rod, I mean, yo, that's big, yo. When I saw that, I'm a sports junkie. I know who Rod is. I see your story. I felt like, yo, it was kind of like that's fly. I love that because you know what those that know what I'm saying. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? I really admired that, and I got to salute flowers for that. You know what I mean? And you was up there, you was holding it down, you was solid, and you was comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw that. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that. I'm good anywhere, everywhere, because God is all the time good, anytime good, and every single time good. My mother ain't died for no reason, so I'd be damned if I ever walk this earth not knowing the ancestors I got walking behind me. Maya Angelou said, you know, when I walk into a room, people ask, what is this glow that you have? It's my people. It's my people behind me. It's my mother, my father, my aunts, my uncles, my grandfathers, and my grandparents. I got one parent left from both sides of my family. My maternal grandmother. Everybody else is gone in the physical. You know where they at? They walking behind me.
You feel like that's your duty.
You know what it is? It ain't even, you know what's crazy? Most people would say that.
Yeah, right.
You know, I don't even feel it's a duty. It's just, it's really my being. You know what I mean? Like, because a duty is more of a task, right?
Copy. Something
I gotta do. Nah, this is something I am. You feel me? Like, I am my ancestors. You know what I'm saying? When I talk, you hear my mother. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when I walk, you see my father. You know what I'm saying? When I move my jawline a certain way, you see my grandmother's mother.
And you know what's funny about that?
So it's my ancestors, not me.
You love that though.
Yeah.
You love that rep. You don't run from that representation. Nah. You embrace it and you embody that.
You know why? The glory in death is to be prepared for rebirth. I had to prepare for this elevation, and I'm still elevating. So who am I to die because of death? No, I'm supposed to live. I'm supposed to live because of it. I'm supposed to be reborn in spite of it. How dare you let the life-changing moment happen without letting the moment actually change your life?
Man, that's some real shit, too.
How many people let a life-changing moment not change their life?
Does that make you I'm asking your opinion. Would that make you feel like you're numb to the shit?
Nah, not numb at all. I'm just aware.
Okay.
Aware. You know, love is, and I got my flaws. I ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, one thing I'm working through now is understanding my own attachment style. You know, there's things that I would never let an athlete get away with that I've let women get away with. You know what I mean? So we all have our growing pains and our growing plans. You know what I mean? For me, is understanding what's in front of me, having faith in who's behind me, and not being afraid to sit the fuck down and just shut up sometimes. Just breathe. Like, really, what happens when you actually just breathe? Everything stops.
For that moment.
Yeah. And you get met with yourself. Think about it.
I ain't got you. That's some real
You
shit.
get what I'm saying?
When you do
Like,
that one.
you know what? I'm wilding.
Facts though, because of that
I'm
breath.
wilding. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not wilding.
I needed that.
Yeah, I needed that. Or, damn, you know what? I don't want this to be true, but it is.
That too.
Or, damn, I want this to be true, but it's not. Like, again, when you breathe and you take that moment to just breathe, you're given the opportunity to love yourself, even when you don't like yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's hard, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, for me, for my brand, you know, for the legacy of my peoples, it's not a numbness at all. It's an awareness that I work on every day.
Yeah.
So I could look at what's in front of me and not be ashamed. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine how many of us ignore shit just because we're ashamed of it.
You mean imagine? Everybody walking this God green earth has done that. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? So that I don't ever want to be ashamed of nothing. I done had too much death. You know what I mean? Like, me and my sister are so resilient, bro. And I don't wear that as a badge of honor. I understand it as a skill. Like, some people wear their strength as a badge. Like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, it's not to show off, right? But it's a skill to use in awareness of, like, what's for you, what's not for you. You know, what's the direct step? May not be the right step, but what's the direct step that you want to take so you can see it? You know what I mean? And be accountable for it. So, and that's what we teach in my company.
You know what? It's funny you said that because it goes to my question is, as we in 2026, what's Coach D's next step? Just for this year.
Yeah, the Athlete Project. So right now, Get Fit Fly Right, we've been in business for 4.5, 5 years, and we want to scale, right? Like, I'm not interested in working in my business forever. So TAP method is the Athlete Project, and it's a method for mental hygiene that you can find and learn in the book. It's 4 steps to clean your mind every day, right? And so along with the 533 breathing meditation, which if you hashtag 533 meditation, it'll come up. We teach people essentially how to clean their mind. Like, mental health, it has so many meanings attached to it.
Oh, these are 4 steps. Get still, affirm yourself a day, breathe with 533 meditation, commit to your affirmation.
Yeah, it's simple. That take less than 5 minutes. And studies show that anywhere between 1 to 5 minutes a day of any type of mindfulness practice not only improves your productivity, your concentration, but also, more importantly, it improves your mental health and your mental well-being. How is that measured in terms of capacity, right? People think mental health is when you're sick. My mind is sick. No, mental health is every day. If you wash your ass this morning, right, that's your physical health. That's your hygienic health. If you brush your teeth this morning,
right,
that's your dental health, right? So what we teach is cleaning your mind every day, really developing a practice that helps you develop the skill to awareness, right? You ask me, am I numb to it? Numbness is about avoidance. Numbness is about hypervigilance. Numbness is about, I would say, toxic protection and toxic positivity, because it voids the problem. But the problem is where the growth is. The dirt is where the gold is. The mud is where the flowers grow. The rain is when, you know what I mean, is when God is calling. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you when you become numb, it bounces off you. You don't get good or bad. You get nothing. And I had to learn that. The jester, the party, I was numb. That's why I was partying so much, drinking and smoking it, because I'm numb. My whole family dead. I'm homeless. I don't know what I'm going to do. And everybody else in my family that is alive is gone. They went back. The death and the funeral is over. They moved on. I got about one uncle and one sister who check in on me, but she got to take care of herself. And he got his own trauma, so he do what he can. But that was my life at 23.
In Brooklyn.
So numbness in the height of gentrification.
And let's not forget, respectfully, you're gay.
That too. You forgot, right? I forgot. So
you know what I'm saying? And I say that respectfully.
Yeah, no, respect. No.
You know what I mean?
But you're right.
All that's in that whole.
Yeah, no. Between being misgendered, stop and frisk was a thing. I had male cops stopping me left and right, like, and then having to tell them, nigga, I got titties, stop touching me. Like, yeah, man. You know, you don't come at that time. I did become numb to it.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
But again,
being the jester was the numbness.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I said, they found purpose in my pain. Not me. I had to, so now with the company, now in 2026, it's about scaling. It's about continuing to evolve. We just hired an intern. Shout out to my intern. She's a young lady from the Bronx. Also have my virtual assistant, helps me do a lot of admin stuff. Shout out to Jordan Ventures. She's my operations manager, helps me with events, making high-level decisions, strategizing. She's also been an integral partner in me we work with a lot of different nonprofit and sport-based youth development organizations where we bring them our coloring book. We also have been in partnership with global foundations. Last year we worked with Beyond Sport. We also do content licensing, and that's where we supply content, so wellness content, to these organizations to use on their platforms. We were able to impact over 7,000 youth last year in the U.S. and train over 150 youth leaders in our program online.
This is your program online.
Yes, online, right? As well as over the last 5 years, we've impacted almost 10,000 youth with mental hygiene, right? From youth from Brownsville, we've worked in Hackensack, we've worked in Trenton. Shout out to Lakeisha Sutton. She had me come to her girls basketball team and really talk to them about what it means to develop and train the mind, right? And what that looks like. And that's something that I've been doing, developing and training my mind. It's not something, healing and mental health is not something you figure out.
You can't.
It's something that you continually do. If I had a great meal, the best meal ever, I'm gonna still have to brush my teeth. Probably even more so, the better the meal, the more you ate, the more your breath stink, right? So the more you do, the more you be, the more whatever, the more life you live, the more cluttered your mind will be, irregardless of whatever the experience is. It's important that we clean our mind. And when we frame it like that, that sounds a lot easier. That sounds a lot more inviting. That sounds a lot more doable and approachable than mental health, emotions, sickness. 1 in every 4 person will have a mental health illness in their lifetime. Like, that sounds scary. That sounds...
People run from that.
I don't want to deal with that.
I don't even want to talk about that.
You feel me? But if I'm talking about cleaning your mind, you know what you need to clean your mind with. Consciousness requires action. All I got to do is plant the seed. I already see the orchard. When I look at that book, my mother, she planted a seed in me with Just Breathe because she already saw the orchard.
Talking about this book, man, before I get out of here, I don't want to not mention something about this book that touched me personally.
Awesome.
Is the simple fact that, and I'm going to take the stage for a minute, respectfully, because I think looking at this book as a father, my kids are grown now. This is a coloring book for the average young child. And the coloring book is giving you so much insight on who you are for a young child to think about. It says, keep going, never forget. But it's a coloring book. The average kid that's coloring is between 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Coloring, because I have grandkids. They like to color. But as they coloring, those that can read, because I grew up on these books. Read it. Read what you just colored. Championships, lessons, wins. A true champion has a lot of lessons. You getting taught this at such a young age. This seed is being planted at such a young age that you would never forget. Yo, I remember my mom gave me that book, Just Breathe. The character you have on here, respectfully, we don't know if it's a boy or a girl. The hat's back, the jersey, the sign, the way the young individual is. I just want to have fun, but let's also keep it real funky right now. They have on Timbs. This is what I'm trying to say. It was a thought process.
Yeah.
It wasn't a gimmick.
Nah.
It was a thought, and you touch somewhere where it needs to start with that group.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And as an adult with a child, you're reading this to your child. Every day, it starts to get embedded.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yo, we gotta, and then the child, I want to finish coloring that book. Mm-hmm. Okay. 533, deep, fast, loud breathes. That stays with that kid. As he grows to elementary, middle school, high school, college, whatever level, he's never going to forget this book that's so relatable to him. Why? Because it was fun, it was relatable, and it's a coloring book.
Appreciate you. I appreciate you.
That's gangster, yo.
I appreciate you.
Real talk, because we focus so much on older youth, which nothing wrong, please. This right here is the seed planter.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is starting the seed.
Absolutely. And you'd be surprised how many high school kids love the book.
That's what I'm saying. But then on the flip side, the older generation, because of the character,
Yeah. You see?
it makes them wanna, let me open this book up.
Facts.
Got a jersey, the hat turned back, Tim's, hold up.
What's this?
Right, what's going on in here? Hold up, what are we doing? Find peace. What are you talking about? The basketball shooting in the park. This is your typical sketch right here. But it means so much because of the word voom.
We out.
That becomes the
everything
new word.
intentional.
Yo, voom.
Yeah,
Where you get the voom from? You ain't see the coloring book? That's what we doing now because that's all it takes. It's that one thing to captivate.
Yep.
You captivating them. And now the book is being, yo, you ain't get that book yet?
You wildin'.
Or the parent, listen, I got a great coloring book that you should give to.
Yeah.
That was beautiful, yo. I salute you for this.
I appreciate that.
This ain't no novel.
Yeah.
It's not this, I'm pouring you my life story. I'm giving you basic knowledge, wisdom, education. The winner, after the victory, what did you learn?
Yeah.
You're asking a question. What did you learn? Oh, no, it's more than just winning. I am. Who are you? That's what it's saying. And it is leaving you a blank frame to write whatever I am.
Or draw it.
It. But it's also letting you think about that.
Yeah.
So every page has a book to the point where we're doing a word search. And if you love the puzzles, as adults, now I'm diving in late night with little Johnny when they asleep. I like to find words. Let me play with words.
Word.
Rest, fat, but it's educating me as well.
Yeah.
So you covering all bases.
Yeah.
God damn, that was genius. And let's be clear, y'all, this is the first time I ever saw this book. Let's be, I don't want anybody to think that I've been had this book. This is amazing, man.
Thank you.
I gotta ask this question before we get out of here. Is this gonna be a follow-up to this book?
So we're thinking about it. Right now, the goal is to get this book out to every school, every after school in New York City, and then moving out to the tri-state. Anyone that is interested in any type of social-emotional learning, that is connected with any type of youth organization, be it schools, be it after-school programs or sporting groups, yeah, we want to get that book out. My goal with her at some point is really to create an animation. Like, I love cartoons.
That was my next thing.
Yeah, I love cartoons.
This is a whole...
Yeah, I love cartoons, and a part of her inspiration came from 3 cartoons. So Jiminy Cricket, Let Your Conscience Be Your Guide, Vavoom from Felix the Cat, and Spinelli from Recess. So all of these are like different cartoons that I love or from my childhood. Really thoughtfully put it into one thing because I wanted to embody, again, everyone having a conscience and everyone having a coach. Because when you deal with death the way that I did, to this day, I struggle with feeling alone. And so Coach Voom is also that reminder that you're never alone. So when I hear Just Breathe, like, you gotta think of it like this. I'll never hear my mother's voice again. Like, I miss hearing my mother's voice. You know what I mean? So that's a way that I can hear her voice. You know, every time I say Just Breathe, every time somebody else say Just Breathe, I could think about my mom.
Or when you see it, you fit it.
Absolutely.
You see the merch, Just
Absolutely.
Breathe.
Like, people look at me and smile because in that moment I gave them, or they took something for themselves, you know what I'm saying? But I know that my mother is still alive. Like, for me, it's not about her being proud of me. My mother was always proud of me and my sister. For me, it's about her not being forgotten. You know what I mean? And so that's why, you know, I teach the kids. You know, as Frederick Douglass said, it is easier to raise strong children than it is to repair broken men. And so having been a broken man, so to speak, I know that if I continue to plant these seeds for these children, that also fuels me. That also keeps me alive and it keeps me in purpose. Again, it keeps me taking that pain and turning it into something, you know? So yeah, for me, it really is about being able to plant a seed, but also give youth and give other people something of value, right? Like, I want to help people clean their minds. I want it to be very normal to say, yo, you clean your brain, bro? Because, yo, lately I've been noticing you've been tweaking a little bit. You good?
I
Like,
like
it's
that.
in our
I
language,
kind of
you know what I
like that because
mean?
that's a
Like,
little different.
yeah.
You clean your mind, get your mind right.
See, it's different than that. Even when you say, yo, get your mind right, that's a command. But to say, yo, did you clean your mind?
Did you clean your mind?
Even if
You
somebody,
need to put that on the shirt.
even if somebody say no, you know what I mean?
But
it'll make them stop and think, like, damn, where I'm dirty at.
But that's what you want them to do. You want them to.
Because it always goes back to awareness. That's what my mother was teaching me. So I teach it to other people.
Listen, let the people know where they can find the book at. They can find you at.
Y'all already know what it is. It's your girl, Coach D. Pretty lady behind the mic. I just come through, spread love and light. And you can always find me at Get Fit Fly Right. You can Google at Get Fit Fly Right. We at www.getfitflyright. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Get Fit Fly Right. That's it. We just want to help people get fit mentally, spiritually, energetically. We want them to get fit and we want them to go fly right. Go be you and be seen. So definitely tap in with us. We work with schools, after school programs and sport groups. We have our curriculum, our TAP method curriculum. We also have our coloring books. We do workshops. Yeah, we just looking to connect and really give our children a language, give them a capacity, and most importantly, build them to be self-sufficient. You know, that's the greatest gift that my mother gave me. And in keeping her legacy alive, that's what Get Fit Fly Right gives to others.
You heard it first. Coach D is in the building. Listen, before I get out of here, I got to ask about that 533.
You want to do it? Let's do it.
What we got to do?
All right, I got you. Get your feet straight. Ain't nothing to it. Like 50 said, just do that shit, all right? So I'm going to ask you to place your hands right on your feet. Get your feet flat. Yeah, get your feet flat. Back straight. Yeah, and then you're going to face forward. Listen to the sound of my voice. I want you to take one calming breath and just relax. Get into your stillness and into your body. We're going to go through each breath just once. This is a 4-minute exercise. But hey, if you only got 30 seconds, you can do it too. All right? So in 30 seconds, we're going to take 3 deep breaths. And just sit in those deep breaths. Regardless of what's going on, keep breathing. Let the sounds do what they do. 15 more seconds. On this last breath, I want you to make a sound. Deep breath in and release. Oh. Take a calming breath. Bring your hands to center. and come back when you're ready. How you feel?
I had a little slight moment on some real shit.
Yeah, like you just chilling, right? Like the goal is to, most people think with meditation is and you calm and relaxed nah. I'm a coach. I want you ready for the game. I'm also a child of trauma. I want you ready for the moment. You feel me? Literally growing up with my moms, every decision I made was a matter of life and death. The decisions me and my sister made, the moves we had to make, the resiliency we had to exude was literally a matter of my mother maybe living or dying. So to have that much responsibility, I use meditation and mindfulness as a way to get ready for my game, whatever that may be for that day. Mm-hmm. Hell, it may be just get through the day. But when you do it, the goal is that you wake up, you clean. And you clean because you're now aware, right? You don't brush your teeth in the morning and then you walk out without something happening and somebody being like, yo, you would never clean it if you didn't know it was there. Right? A lot of what we dealing with, most of us don't even know is there. On top of the shit we know is there. Yeah. That's a lot of shit we packing off to the side. You know what I mean? But even in that 30 seconds, you can start to look at it.
Or think about some things.
Yeah, hug yourself afterwards.
Listen, man.
And that's what this is, So namaste. I honor the light in you. I honor the light in you as I honor the light in me, right? But to be able to do that and then bring that energy in, reason being is because all that of what you just harnessed, most people would go and give it to the world.
Right.
But to just take a moment and give it to yourself. Give it to yourself. Because now nobody can take it from you. Not your man, your woman, your kids, your boss, your job, your whatever. Nothing can take what you just gave yourself. And it's in that's what we really teach it.
Right.
Right? One of the biggest issues with mental health is everyone's searching for something outside of themselves. Money, status, love, validation. You know what I mean?
Woo! Listen. Voice of the culture, man. Coach D is in the building. We in the hush. Yo, this was a gem dropper. It was a blessing for me to sit here and get some great wisdom. Get some of this good energy, this good, just good spirit, good energy, good vibe. I appreciate you.
Same.
I really do.
Same.
And I want you to come back again because we got to revisit this.
Yeah.
There's just so much more.
Yeah, you got to see where we at in 2027. That's a fact.
Nah, that's a fact.
That's a fact.
We're going to stay in contact. Like I say to everybody, my platform is your platform. Don't be afraid. I'm here.
Appreciate you.
I'm here.
Nah, deadass. I appreciate you.
I really,
I
just never know, you sending me, just send it. You ain't got to ask. This what we doing, Shy. I need you to send that beacon out. I'm on it.
Appreciate that.
You know what I mean? It's the voice of the coaches, Coach D. You know what it is. We out of here. One.